our next presentation. So I might ask Samjhana Timalsina to present now.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Respected chairs, distinguished guests, fellow presenters, and participants. Namaste. It's an honor to be here. And my name is Samjhana Timalsina from the Department of Environmental Science. Today, I am very delighted to present my research on adaptations and innovations of farmers against changing climate and the case study from Panauti, Kavrepalanchwok, Nepal. And this story reflects both the challenges and resilience of the local farmers in my hometown's area as they are facing the growing impact of climate change. Climate change is not a distinct threat, it's already reshaping agriculture, food security, and livelihood, particularly in the vulnerable regions like Nepal. Farmers, as the frontier lines actors, are constantly adapting and innovating to sustain their productivity. My story highlights those practices, innovations, and their broader implication for the climate adaptations. Moving on to the next slides, I have highlighted the outlines of my studies in the points like introduction, objectives, materials, and methods. And moving on to the introduction part, climate change is a major threat to the agriculture worldwide, and in Nepal, it's particularly challenging. The country healthy terrains and heavy resilience on the farmings make it highly vulnerable. Erratic rainfalls and rising temperatures are directly impacting the food security and livelihood on the small-scale farmers, and the research focus on the farmers of Panauti regions as active agent of change, not just passive victim. By studying their on-the-ground responses, we can bridge the gap between the theoretical climate models and the practical community-led solution already in the place. The insight from this study can help build a more resilient and sustainable food system, not only for the Panauti but also other vulnerable regions facing similar challenges. And moving on to the next science, here are the some objectives of my studies. And the major objectives of my study is to investigate the innovations and adaptation strategies of the farmers in response to the climate change in Panauti Cabre. And other specified objectives are to analyze climatic data of the study area and to assess and identify current adaptation practices of the farmers, to document the local innovations of farmers to cope with the climate change impact on agriculture, and last one is to study the relationship between rainfall, temperature, maximum and minimums, and the crop yield. And this is the study map of my study area. And the study area was conducted in the Panauti municipality Cabre, as shown in the figure. To gather the informations, I have used a mixed method approaches combining both primary and secondary data collection. For primary data collection, I conducted household survey, field observations, key informant survey, and focal group discussion. You can see the picture photos of these activities on the slide. I also interviewed key informant like the agriculture officers and the founders of aeroponic potato farming business to gain the specific insights. For the secondary data collection, I have conducted 30 years of temperature and rainfall data from the Department of Hydrology and Meteorology, as well as agriculture data and other some research papers. As you can see in the pictures, I have used different data collection methods in my research area, like with the key informant and founder of aeroponic and the focal group discussion. And moving on to the analysis part, I have collected 30 years of data from the year 1993 to 2023, and the temperature and precipitation data from the DHMs, and I have calculated the average parameter like climate data trend, crop yield trend, and using the MX axis, as you can see in the picture 2. And I have, for the analysis part, I have entered the data from the different survey and questionnaire and the reporting of key informant interviews in the MS World. And for the moving on to the research result part, for the temperature, the data show a consistent increasing trend across all sectors. The annual maximum, minimum, and average temperature are all rising, with the most significant increase during the post-monsoon and winter seasons, that is 0.052 degrees Celsius per year. This indicates a warming climate, especially outside the monsoon period. And on the other hand, precipitation trends show a decline. Annual rainfall is decreasing by about 1.19 mm per year, while the surface reductions during the monsoon seasons And other seasons like pre-monsoon, post-monsoon, and winter also show a slightly decrease. In short, the region is experiencing hotter temperature and less rainfall overall, especially in the monsoon season. And this combination creates serious challenges for the farmers as they face longer dry spells, more erratic rainfalls, and increased pressure and water resources. And moving on to the next slide, for the crop yield trends, I have taken the data from DADO of 10 years and use correlation analysis for this. And by using the correlation analysis, I get that maize yield had shown a strong steady increase, which suggests that farmers have found successful way to adapt. Likewise, in the case of rice and potatoes, the yield for rice and potatoes have varied significantly with the temperature fluctuations, showing how sensitive these crops are to climate changes. The decrease in annual precipitation, especially during the monsoon season, also clearly correlated with the decrease in yield for all the three crops. And moving on to the next slide, for the adaptations, adapting to the climate change, it has used a wide variety for this. And viewing the simple adaptation, farmer has developed remarkable local adaptation case. People are using most of the hybrid seeds by using a questionnaire survey and household survey. The information are gained, and people, most of 22% of people are using a biofertilizer, and 15% of people are using a weed control technologies, and 11% of people are changing their crop calendar. Likewise, 10% of people have changed their tillage practices, and 6% of people are changing their irrigation facilities. Likewise, 6% of farmers are adopting their off-seasonal farming and tomato cultivations. And likewise, some of the peoples are adopting with the rainwater harvestings, and some of them are not still are not practicing, and the farmers are usually using the local material and planting tree bamboo species to protect their field. And some of the farmers are shifting their cash crops like beans, gingers are cultivating in the same fields, and some of the peoples are getting the training related to the agricultures. And moving on to the next slides, the main themes of the research paper is the innovations. I have conducted three questionnaire with the innovators like Purna Awal, Rajendra Thapa and his partners, and the JTA Vikas Acharya. And first of all, Purna Awal has created a new organic fertilizers by mixing a different types of annual manner. This solves the problem of chemical fertilizers, degrading soil qualities, and has to lead the financial success. Likewise, Rajendra Thapa and his partners has collaborated with the aeroponic system to grow the potato using a tissue culture lab. This method produces healthy seed potato while avoiding a soil-borne diseases. And likewise, cocoa-peat tea for seeding. JTA Vikas Acharya has used it. A local agriculture technicians Vikas Acharya introduced using cocoa peat in the tray to prepare seedling for cauliflowers and tomatoes. And this innovation reduces seeds wastage and water usage, making the planting process much more efficient. And moving on to the next slide.
You now have 1 minute. Please use it wisely.
Moving on to the next slide. In conclusion, my research found that Panauti region has experienced a clear increase in temperature and decrease in rainfall over the last 30 years. This changes has made key crops like rice, maize, and potato more vulnerable to the climate variations, leading to the issues like water scarcities and increase in the pests and diseases. However, farmers are not standing by passively. They are actively implementing a wide variety of adaptation strategies such as use of hybrid seed and biofertilizer. More importantly, they have demonstrated incredible resilience through the local innovations like Punawal organic farmings and the aeroponic potato systems. While these efforts are effective, the low adaptations rate of the some practices like rainwater harvesting shows that there is a need for more support and awareness. And for the long-term food security is crucial that local government and non-governmental organizations provided targeted interventions and policy support to help scale up for the successful innovations. And these are the references I have used in my research at the time of research. And Thank you for your
Thank you
time
so
and
much, Samjhana. I'm opening the floor for our chairs and co-chair. Do you have any questions for Samjhana?
Hello.
hello, sir.
Yeah. So you are collecting the data. So can you tell me some few constraints in that particular questionnaire while collecting the
Uh,
data?
yes, I have some. I found some implications at the time of research. At the time of getting data from the DHM, that in Nepal, that this Department of Hydrology and Meteorology, some of the data, like regular monthly data, some of the data are missing, and that makes my research little bit difficult at the time. And at lastly, I have managed it. And at the time of visiting to the field visit in the aeroponic potato farming, that is just started for the experimental process, but it has somehow been in profit basis, and these are some of the implications. Furthermore, it's quite good.
Again, second question is why there is a crop inconsistency, because in abstract begin by focusing on rice, wheat, and maize, but later it shift to the rice, maize, and potato. Can you clarify
Uh,
this?
in my locality, is there is only three types of production are grown, especially in my research area. So I have focused it in the rice, maize, and potato. And the climate change has been basically degrading that potato farmings in our locality. So I have focused these only three crops.
Thank you, Dr. Lopriya. We also have a question from the floor. So Philip is asking, you showed that rainfall is decreasing and temperature is rising in Panauti. How do these two changes together affect crop yield and farmer income in your study area?
As the temperature is increasing day by day, the different water resources are being stopped or they are being uh, degraded day by day, and most of the peoples are using the rainwater harvesting system for more purposes, but also there are it's being not implemented properly because due to rising temperatures, so water scarcity problem is going on very much, and most of the peoples are not using, just a few peoples are using the rainwater harvesting system, and it is not effectively implemented yet.
Thank you so much, Samjhana. I hope that answers Philip's question.